Greetings, everyone. Well, here's the thing. My announcements have been going out funky. Why? Because I just realized that I forgot to change the settings for my time zone. Hello, slap on the forehead. Anywho, let's talk a little bit about our discussion for week 4. Now, first and foremost, let me preface it with the fact that I love UDL. And you notice that, again, one of the things that, oh, hey, look at that. Hala, thank you very much. I want you to start thinking about different modalities of delivering your own information. Folks, if anybody wants to try it, go for it. That's why I had you in the first week put an announcement that was video oriented. 2 semesters ago, one person just every other week did it. You know, put a video, put a PowerPoint. I don't really care. Let's see if I can do Command F. I need to find. So let's get started here. So I'm going to start with Hala, which was actually I'm going to start with Sandy. Oops, why doesn't that want to work? Okay, so Sandy, you had a great comment. You talk about setting people up for success. That's my goal in this course for sure. And I want to make sure that your commitment to being proactive to student support is truly what hits home, right? It builds that strong foundation for student success. It creates an inclusive learning environment. It provides students with that feeling of being empowered as they take on their own learning. That's kind of important, and especially in the health professions, because they have to kind of start thinking critically, right? Sherry, you had a great comment too this week, and you talked about the idea of multiple means for students and expressing their comprehension. Multiple means of expression is one of my key things. I love that. And that's why I prefaced this little discussion cast with, folks, go ahead and try using the video recording tool in Canvas. You'll find that it's easier to talk it out versus it is to write it out. At least I do. So your discussion provides that connection, which I really love, and that flexibility for assessment too. And it also encourages that, well, no pun intended, that multiple means of expression in the learning, and it strengthens communications. It can strengthen collaboration skills, and I've been toying with that, maybe pulling you together and putting you into groups to discuss, so you're not discussing, so it's not like one big thread. But that's probably for the next group. It's probably too late for this one. But anyway, so preparing students for that academic success, much like how Sandy thought about it as well. Shika, you mentioned in yours about how UDL can facilitate and show how students actually comprehend things. So again, stressing it again. So folks, if you wanted to do like an infographic in your discussion, if you wanted to do a PowerPoint, if you wanted to do a video or audio recording, you could do that as well. But your post clearly provides that foundation on how UDL can support engagement. And again, presentations, reflections, how do we do that, and how do we get them to critically think? And if they can actually create something, right? Creating is at what level, folks? It's at the highest level of Bloom's. So we know that they're getting there and they'll be able to create their own information and probably just potentially disseminate their own information, right? Christopher, so the first thing that struck me was like the fact that you mentioned that, UDL is becoming one of your favorites. Yay! So first, I'm happy to read that UDL is resonating with you. And then second, in reference to your comment, how do I state this effectively? Well, no pun intended. Your examples effectively demonstrate how UDL can foster engagement and that deep sense of learning within a student, because then we think about, how can I create this, or how can I express this, or how can I look at the information from a different modality. And universal design for learning and multimodal learning, and that's one reason why I gave you that assignment this week, folks, is the crux of that. And then that's what I kind of want to have you think about as you continue on with course design. So at any rate, it offers that variety of learning and that expression, and that's key because it helps to build communication skills and also creates meaningful student-centered, where you go student to student, student to faculty interaction. Lynette. Okay, wait, coming up. There we go. Okay, so you said, let me see if I can find it. Might be harder for me to find it. I don't know why I think you said something about reflecting. Oh, here it is. As I reflect on designing and building my therapeutic communications course, which is awesome because develop everything that you're doing in this class, apply it to that course. Okay. So that's what I want folks to do, is take whatever you're learning in this course and build your course for the fall, right? So your example shows how UDL can foster engagement. Again, it's all about engagement. It's all about representation. It's all about meaningful action and expression, right? Offering that varied learning, okay? And UDL can build that confidence in students. And I go back to your project too. I mean, how can we think about building a simulation education to build student confidence so that they're not psychologically stressed, right? So keep that in mind. Okay. And then again, that centered learning is something that we need to look at. Again, tie that back into your project and tie it back into your course. Hala, I think you were at the top. Yes, you were. Okay, so you mentioned in your preventative measures or oral hygiene and how they can demonstrate through multiple means of action and expression, which, hello, okay, your post shows and highlights that importance of that particular element of UD, and it supports how you can support dental hygiene students. I lost my train of thought. Sorry. By providing multiple means of representation and action and expression, builds that confidence in students. Okay, it kind of also reduces stress because then they're like, this is how I need to express myself. This is how I need to make sure I'm addressing the content within the course and how I can apply it to essential skills, right? Okay, and then Mimi, last but not least, right? Oops. Okay, so, UDL, and UDL goes well with like occupational therapy, it goes great with PT, and it goes great with SLP too. Okay, because think about how people have to express themselves verbally, okay, or non-verbally. So I think of like the connection between sign language and speech and language. And then again, thinking about it from, I'm not sure where I was going with that, but I think hopefully you get what I was talking about. Your post highlights that accessible technology piece of it. That is my jam. I love that. And then flexible expression methods create that inclusive learning environment, which we're hoping to all instill within everyone, right? And then the assistive technology type of tools, like an AAC device, for example, which I'm very familiar with, empowers that student to engage in content and engage by a meaningful way that expresses, even though it's low level, an understanding of the content. Loved where you were going with this. Great discussion this week, folks. Keep it up, and I'm enjoying it.